My life was great. I was young, happy, healthy. I was doing all the good habits. I was listening to the influencers, and I was just all around becoming a really great young man until one day I looked in the mirror and it hit me. I didn't feel too good about myself, and I started to look down on myself. I didn't feel right. And I go online and I look at all these influencers, these people that I look up to, and they're just telling me that I'm too lazy or I'm not doing enough, or I quite simply just need to work harder. Before we get into the bad stuff, I do want to make this clear. Self-improvement is great. It has saved my life. It has saved lots of other people's lives, and it is a great way to live your life. The mindsets that you can build and the advice that the modern world provides to a lot of young people is super important. But in this video, we are going to talk about some things that I really think almost plague at the self-improvement space, especially in today's modern age. And I just kind of want to throw these out there as warnings, but I think that these might be problems that some of you guys are having. Number one, suffering does not equal improvement. I used to believe when I was younger, and sometimes I still catch myself thinking this way, that the more I suffer, the harder I work, the more I physically feel pain or mentally feel pain, the stronger I will get. And on paper, maybe that sounds great. I go for a 3 a.m. run. I physically, that's not an easy thing to do. And sure, that action in itself can make you stronger, but that can also manifest into this. You wake up at 3 in the morning, you go on a run, then you hit the gym, then you go to work or school or whatever, and then you go home and then you're eating clean all day. You have no break, no downtime. You make videos, you're working on a business, and if you're young enough, let's say 16, 17 are the ages that now some of these kids are doing this at. I'm only 18. That really can add up into a lifestyle where you can't have a life, where you don't allow yourself to rest. And when you do, you feel horrible. You can't sit down and pick up a controller because you get a jolt in your body of insecurity. And, on top of that, imagine feeling horrible about yourself. Imagine working that hard and then looking in the mirror and feeling awful about how you look, how you mentally feel. And I'm sure a lot of you watching this video are even sitting there thinking, oh, wait a minute, that's me. He just said it outright and I've never realized it. And it's just something that I think a lot of young men and women don't realize. They work themselves into the ground to the point that they lost the life that they were trying to build. The self-improvement space and influencers in general are liars. Most of them are liars. They're LARPers. Half of what they say or all of what they say is not true. They don't live by it. And there's a very small portion of them that actually do what they say. Now, I'll say this, and I mean this wholeheartedly. There are lots of great self-improvement creators. Hell, I'm technically a self-improvement creator. So I guess saying that most of them are bad is maybe not a great statement, but I do believe that the majority of self-improvement creators on Instagram, YouTube, all these platforms that you're on all the time, half of them are lying. They're renting those cars. Most of them are working a 9 to 5. Also, the other thing is a lot of these creators don't talk about their personal issues. Something that I want to do more is I want to display I'm a human being. I'm not perfect. A lot of these creators portray themselves as if they're perfect, as if they're these Adonises, and that's just not true. For a man to love, he had to hate. For a man to be rich, he had to be poor. For a man to be strong, he had to be weak, right? These people are not perfect. They're not as they seem. They wear these masks, and then it's covered up by the privacy of their identity. And I'm not saying that your favorite improvement creator is like this terrible person that you should, really, really pay attention to and make sure that they're actually being honest. But what I am saying is if you've got a creator telling you, for example, there's a lot of these clips of like Andrew Tate saying that he gets 3 hours of sleep a night, or I've seen some where he only eats once a day and he eats red meat, and it's like, yeah, people do that stuff, but it's like, I don't know, man. I think you're lying a little. I think you're full of shit. And that's just how I feel about most self-improvement creators. And you'll learn, most of them rent their cars. Most of them aren't as rich as they say. A lot of these people just are lying to you, and that is unfortunate. If I were you, I would pick out a couple and I would listen to them. And you need to make sure that they're people that care and work for you, because different things work for different people. Self-hate is a symptom of self-improvement. For one to change, for a man or a woman to change into a better version of themselves, they have to kill, accept, and respect their original self. And I know that all of that sounds contradictory, but I'll explain it. For you to improve, you have to accept who you once were, but you also have to kill that person. And in the process of killing something, it's violent. Mentally, you're going to hate your original self. That person is going to grab at you and try and pull you back into your original habits or things that you've done, or, even deceive you and lie to you. Just one more bite, just one more puff, right? One more all-nighter. And that builds into this weird identity shift where maybe you feel like you're two people. It's like the movie Fight Club almost. Like you're Tyler Durden and then you're the other guy. And it kind of sucks because a lot of people don't understand that push and pull. So then it turns into, well, I'm just a loser. And what you do is you build this mixed identity where it's all self-hatred and you don't feel good about yourself. And I'm here to tell you, as someone who's currently struggling with that, as someone who has really dealt with that problem, that is not something you deserve. You don't deserve to hate yourself. You don't deserve to feel that way about yourself. This is a symptom of thousands of hours of creators telling young men and women that they're stupid or that their lives are useless or that they're doing everything wrong. And when you push that into a young, impressionable mind, you're bound to get someone who struggles. Everything we've talked about in this video has built up to this one point, and I want to make it clear. Self-hatred is the automatic and almost guaranteed side effect, if not taken under control, of self-improvement. I'm not saying that you can't avoid it, but I am saying that you need to avoid it. I'm saying that you need to acknowledge it. I've dealt with this for so long. Overall, I don't want you to take this video out of context and say, well, this guy's saying that self-improvement's a bunch of BS and it's not good for me and it's going to hurt me. It's going to make me a self-loathing, loser chud. But I am going to say this. You need to take self-improvement with a grain of salt. You need to take it with some respect. Self-improvement is an individualized process that takes your entire life, not 10 years, not 6 months. It takes your entire life. Improvement is not something that happens in one day. Self-improvement is an addition to your life. It is a necessary addition to your life. Having good habits and taking care of yourself is great, but those habits can lead you down a dark path, and that's what this video is really pointing out. Those are just another handful of points that I could make about this topic, but I just want to make it clear self-improvement's a great thing. If you made it this far, please like and sub. I really appreciate it, and I love you all. Bye.